Welcome back, everybody, to another episode here on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel. I am your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Thank you to the brothers that are out there that are watching the stream today. We have a very, very, very good stream, and we have one of our brothers from the travel community that's with us today. And for those of you that are there, like the video, you know that one of the communities that I'm in the manosphere is the travel community. I'm a person that's been living overseas since 2015. And so I want to give a shout out to the brothers that's going to the Philippines, Big Chris, HT Logistics, all of those guys. You have your brothers like Sasua Dominican Republic, Markill TV. This is Ace Live. Oh, there he goes. Speak of the devil, there he is right there. My brother out there in Colombia, I got to get him back on here. My big bro, Mark Hill. And then, so those that are Latin American brothers, Tailor Made Dreams out there in DR. And today we're talking to Dr. Mike TV. He's been around for a minute. And the other brother, what's the other brother, man? That's in the Philippines.
Black American expat.
Black American expat, right, from
Yeah.
Alabama. Good to see that, brother,
Yeah.
man. But we want to talk about a topic, man, that he did a video on. The shade black men get from dating overseas. But brother, go ahead on and let people know about yourself, about your channel, and everything like that, brother.
All right. Well, matter of fact, first things first, I got to give a big shout out to my big brother, O'Shea Duke Jackson. He doesn't know this, but if you don't know it, I'm going to tell you right now. You are the reason that I actually changed my name to Dr. Mike TV, because you, in our first ever interview, you started referring to me as Dr. Mike.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you remember, right? Because my name before on YouTube was like Mike the PI guy. People
Right,
thought it was
Mike the PI
confusing,
guy.
right?
Right.
Right. So you called me Dr. Mike in our first interview. Then me and Black American Expat did Love and Life in the Philippines. That's like our
Right.
show together that we had. And he started calling me Dr. Mike. So I said, hell man, might as well change my name. So just want to give you a big shout out on that one. But I've been on YouTube probably for about 2 years, since 2017 of April.
Mm-hmm.
But I lived in the Philippines from 2006 to 2017. I got my doctorate degree in business administration while I was studying abroad in the Philippines, of course. Decided to make my own YouTube channel. Things seemed to be going well, and that's kind of how the game got started for myself. So, I can't really complain. YouTube's been pretty fun so far. So, I'm having fun with it, and it's good to be back on the show, man.
All right, brother. Now I know. Are you back in the USA right now?
Currently, yes, I am. I touched down probably about less than a month ago, but I'll probably be back on the travel circuit probably within the next month or two. So it's not going to be very long. But for right now, yeah, I'm here in North Carolina. That's where I'm from.
Okay, North Carolina. Now let's talk about this video. Now, before we get in the video, you've been going to the Philippines. You and Black American Expat, those you two brothers are probably the only ones that I know that consistently go to the Philippines. But when did you
Yeah.
start going to the Philippines and start doing that kind of stuff?
All right. Well, my first trip to the Philippines was in 2005. That would be my junior year of high school. Actually, my father and my older brother were actually living there. So I visited during the summer break, basically coasted through my whole senior year of high school. And then after that, I ended up living in the Philippines for about 10 to 11 years consecutively for my studies abroad.
All right. And how
So
did
my
you like it? How did you like it when you first got
The
there?
atmosphere is awesome, man. It's a totally different beast. There is a lot to get used to. I'm not gonna lie. You do have to realize that a lot of people may say there is no difference between first world and third world countries. They say there is no existence of it, but you can see that there is a lot of things different from the United States and also living in the Philippines. Poverty level is something that you have to get used to. You have your nice areas, the beautiful areas, but of course you have your, areas that are not so nice. But overall, cost of living, things of that nature really do appeal to myself as a brother traveling, and probably to a lot of people in reference to why they continuously go back to, the Philippines. I mean, you can get things relatively cheap. You can have a very, very decent vacation, and it doesn't necessarily cost you a lot of money. So that kind of appeals to most people when they travel there.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this topic because this black male And I know that your content is not necessarily black male specific because you're a brother who talks only really about Filipino culture
Hmm.
and Filipino tips for people going of all races. So your content is very niche specific. But
True.
this video, and if you notice, this video got a lot more views than typically other
It
videos
did.
might get.
It did.
Um, and I never knew you
Yeah.
had it in you, brother, because you was bringing it on this one. I mean, you was. I was like, "Yeah, oh Shay, jump into your body real quick, brother." But let's talk about the shade, right? That
Yeah.
you feel that black men in particular get, and I know brother Mark Hill is in here. I know he's waiting to hear this. Um,
Yeah.
why is there so much hatred for you educated brothers? Because yeah, you should have a real doctorate.
Yeah.
Why is there so much hatred when black men such as yourself are dating or even moving and living overseas and dealing with different women?
Um, well, I know a lot of people have talked about it from this particular perspective, but in reference to being an educated brother choosing to go abroad, um, I think it's more so about the most people being. Are you talking about from the brother's perspective, or for for black
We
women
can
or
talk
whatever?
about both.
Which
We know we got some
both?
niggas hating too. There's definitely
All
some
right,
niggas hating on niggas going overseas. I know that, but let's just talk
they're the
about both.
worst.
Yeah,
For sure.
let's talk about what. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Oh, okay, so as far as the women are concerned, I think it's more or less the fact that they feel that the good brothers are being taken away from them. So for me to choose to take my talents to the Philippines, like the boy LeBron James would say, it kind of comes off as if we've given up on dealing with women in our own culture. And I guess they don't like that. And I can tell you right now, I know women here, the way that they treat their men, the way that, the way they take care of them, whether they have a 9 to 5 or not, they come home and they make sure everything is taken care of in the household. You have a couple of them that are like that, but overall, I feel like because we're not valued for what we bring to the table, like you said, you referred to them as the Pookies and the Ray Rays. If we're nothing like them, we kind of seem to get overlooked. But the only time it seems that they try to look at us is after we've already made the step to go date abroad. Nobody really seems to pay attention to us when we're pushing forward and getting the good grades in school and stuff like that. I did pretty good in high school, but overall, I kind of feel like there is a possibility that we are overlooked. And when we do go abroad, they're scared now because they realize that there is a bigger competition market outside of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And when they realize that the competition market is huge, because you have brothers that are now willing to take the chance to travel abroad and see what their options are overseas. Now all of a sudden they're realizing brothers are making the move, and they don't really take kind of that at all. They don't like it at all. So mm.
Why did brothers like yourself? Why do you think? Because when I came into this community, shout out to Charles Tyler. I don't know if
Big
you've
shout
heard
out.
of him.
Yeah, shout
He
out to him. May he rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the big bro. One of my friends that we was getting was getting closer. Before he passed, we did a few
Hmm.
shows, and I was the first guy to Patreon his platform. He was the first African American guy that kind of set this. I would say he's the progenitor of what is the current black manosphere, but from a travel perspective. He was the
True.
first guy that was starting to give African American men a voice, saying, listen, so enough of this shit. Okay, let's not give up on black women, but let's go to Brazil. Okay, let's go to the black
Right.
women in Brazil. Now,
Hmm.
he got some hatred for that a little bit because the women I think were still that he was promoting were still black. Now, guys like yourself, I know you got the brothers Markel, Taylor Made Dreams. You don't necessarily have an issue with black women, but you're dating these women that are Filipino, that might be Colombian, that might be
Hmm.
Latina, and then a lot of people start to look at you like, man, wait a minute, Markel, you was a talented brother, you was in the military. Dr. Mike, you got a PhD. Like, why you going way overseas dealing with these women when we need you in the black community to deal with some of these beautiful black women that we have? What do you have to say about that?
Like I said, you're 100% correct. I will never tell you that I've given up on dating women from my own community. I can honestly say that I can. it may be hard for people to digest this particular situation, but I can almost accredit it to being a product of my environment. I
Mm-hmm.
moved there after high school.
Mm-hmm.
I lived there 10 years straight. So it's a high probability that during my 10 years living in the country, I was going to probably end up dating a couple of Filipino women. And because that became my preference over time, it's not as if, oh, because I wasn't around black women that I don't like them or anything like that. It's just basically this is who I came. You know, you can't help who you love. You can't help who you fall in love with. You can't help the types of women that you do fall in love with over time. Um, and for myself, a lot of people are going to hate on me. A lot of people are going to shit on you because you choose to date abroad.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, for myself, I feel like, uh, there is no easy way to answer that one because regardless of how you say it, somebody going to be mad at
No
you.
man, make it man. You on
Yeah.
O'Shea channel, man. Bring it. Gotta bring the heat, nigga. You gotta keep me playing with these niggas on my channel, man. These niggas, they under. Hold on one second. Let me take a. Hold on one second, brother. Can he bring the heat, y'all? Can he bring the heat? Y'all gonna get mad. Come on now, keep it tanky. Y'all gonna get mad. T. Kelly, come on. You on O'Shea's channel? You gotta bring the man. These niggas ain't. They understand. They be mad all the time. Bring the heat for these niggas,
All right.
brother.
All right. Here it goes. 9 times out of 10, I know that when I deal with, African American women or women from my own particular background, I know that I'm probably stand a better chance dating women abroad simply because I'm not going to have to deal with the consistent headaches. I know that I'm not going to have to go back and forth. I don't have to necessarily deal with a woman trying to buck up at me and try to fight me like she a man because
Mm-hmm.
basically she knows that I can't hit her back. So I know I don't have to deal with that when it comes to Filipino women. They'll never do their men like that. Even if like they
Uh-huh.
in dealing with their own men, I'll be honest with you, Filipino women will
Mm-hmm.
stick up for their man whether they shit or not, because there are a lot of ain't shit people over there. I'm not gonna front. So
Okay.
they'll basically have their man's back until the end of time. They won't shit on
Mm-hmm.
them. They won't say, fuck you, you ain't shit. They won't down you like that. They won't do you like that in most situations. So because I know that the behavior that I'm gonna get and the response that I'm gonna get from dating this woman isn't going to be the reaction that I would probably get from dating women from my own background. I know that I stand a better chance dating women overseas than I do, basically from where I'm from.
Now, because here's the thing. So people gonna say, "All right, well, brother, all women are not all black women are not like that, brother. Like, you know what I
True.
mean?
That's true.
So, unless you have some personal stories, about this, have you had some bad experiences? Um,
Dating black women? Yes, I
yeah.
have.
Okay. Okay. You.
I've had. See, but again, you have to realize my personal experiences stop after high school. So,
Okay.
that's the thing. That's what makes my situation different from everybody else. My perspective simply stops at high school because I did college overseas.
Right.
So, you may say, oh man, well, you haven't really been with women, older, back then, immaturity, the whole nine, you
Mm-hmm,
dealing with
mm-hmm,
those types of women at that age. So that's why my perspective is basically going to be different than somebody who's dated women, black
mm-hmm.
women more specifically in their 20s, 30s, and so forth. That's why when I talk about it, my experiences stop when they're in high school. So,
Okay. Okay. I want to talk about something that you said on the video. You
all
said that one of the reasons that women in general, you didn't make it a black or white thing.
right.
You said that shout out to my brother Dr. J. You said that brothers who go or people in general that go overseas and they date people
Hmm.
in the Philippines. The reason why a lot of people get mad, both men and women, because ladies in the Philippines, ladies overseas, make American women look bad.
I did say
Now, I mean,
that.
I'm not trying to be controversial because I will also agree to that to a certain degree in certain
Hmm.
aspects from what I've seen. But what's your reasoning for saying that, brother?
The reason why I feel these women make American women look bad in general. Now, again, this is going to be hating on somebody, but again, it's not all American women. Let's just be honest. It's just the majority of the few. 9 times out of 10, when you're dealing with Filipino women, they are very petite and they kind of keep themselves petite. So,
Hmm.
you know, dealing with women in the United States, they may be a little bit obese. Not too many men are checking for that. That's number one. That's why a lot of
Hmm.
guys are choosing to date abroad. Number two, the attitude, the way that they value their men in general. Again, this is in general, because again, you can find women overseas that may not value you the way that you wish you should. But the majority of them over time value you and they value your worth. They see your boy got a doctorate degree. They checking for that. They see that. And even before then, you know, you're the exotic one. You different. You know, being a black American man in the Philippines, that's a whole different landscape for you. Because not too many of us brothers travel at all, let alone to the Philippines. So, you know, being different and being in a different environment, you're checked for a whole lot more. Whether you're, you know, regardless of whatever your background is, you are definitely checked for a whole lot more in the Philippines. And the women, you know, they cook and clean for their men regardless. I said there's a lot of ain't shit men over there. So if they're willing to do that for somebody who's not willing to, you know, be their partner or to, you know, hold their own in a relationship, imagine what they'll do for somebody who can bring value to the relationship, who can bring, you know, not necessarily monetary means, but basically opportunities and things for themselves. Imagine what they would do for a man that could do that for them. That's kind of the reason how I see, you know, that they are in some instances, you know, somewhat a whole lot better than dating women in the United States.
Okay, now when's the last time you dated a woman in the United States?
Last time I dated a woman, and I've been on dates, but I haven't really dated anybody long term in a long
Been on dates. Talk to
time.
me about those dates.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. See, there are definitely benefits to, excuse me, to dating women in the United States. I'm not gonna lie. It is very refreshing to be able to have conversations with women that can understand my English. That is one thing that you do have to put up with in the Philippines. Sometimes there is a broken English and there is a lot of things lost in translation. So it is very refreshing to be able to have conversations with these women. You know, tell your jokes and people get them. You know, so the dates have been okay, but I kind of feel like over time as things start to progress, you
Hmm.
start to get into the, talking to them long term. I kind of feel like over time, the behaviors that you got away from seem to creep back in. That kind of seems to be what happens. Like the things that you got away from in dating American women definitely seem to creep back in when you start to have conversations with these women. So, it kind of leads me back to why I chose to date abroad in the first place.
Hmm. 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 Um, you talk about there are certain shaming tactics, brother, that are being used. And I know that you're African American man. And you know that I'm in the manosphere. This is a black man's show, and get the likes up
Hmm.
on the video. There are shaming tactics that are being used against brothers such as yourself
Right.
who are choosing to say, all right, I'm not even talking bad about black women. I'm not even mentioning that at all. Right.
Hmm.
I'm just going over to the Philippines. Some brothers, like I go over to Africa, not to trick, but I'll be working over there. I'll be just acting like I'm tricking, but I don't really be doing the tricking. But there are several levels of shaming tactics that are used against black men. You don't really, because I know a lot of white guys go to to Asia and to the
Hmm.
Philippines too, more so than we do. In fact,
Right.
white men love Asian women. And you never hear those sort of shaming tactics. But let's talk about the shaming tactics that are used against black men for going overseas dating women, that you have received, you have heard.
All right. Well, to be honest with you, this doesn't necessarily pertain to me, but what I've noticed is that over time, anybody who's ever told me this story is they say that most of the shame comes from those that are closest to you, talking about family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's where most of the shame comes from. Your core essence, your group. Everybody wants to ask you why you want to go over there. You didn't lose anything over there. What is the reason why you want to travel over there? There ain't nothing for you over there. It's dangerous. They be always going to war, shootings, bombings. They always try to find a way to negate or to basically create a negative mindset, in your head about going to the Philippines. So there's always a lot of why questions. Always,
Mm-hmm.
always a lot of why questions. And when you get those questions, it does make you think, why do I want to do this? Especially if it's your first time going. And when you get a lot of those why questions, most of that doubt that they create in your head, keeps people from traveling in the first place. I
Mhm,
mentioned this
mhm,
before a long time ago, but the doubt that people put in your head is the reason why a lot of men don't travel in the first place. It's not that they don't have the dreams and ambitions to go. They're basically deterred from going simply because people are telling them that there's nothing over there for you. You're not gonna have as much fun as you think you're gonna have. So that's the shaming tactic. And then if you tell them that you're going over there, just to date around and see what the landscape is like,
mhm,
don't let that can of worms open, because at the end of the day, they're definitely gonna be like, ah man, what you want to deal with those skinny ass women for? Those women, they ain't got, they don't have this, they don't have that. That's another shaming tactic that comes through. They try to tell you the types of women that you're going to come across, and they're going to
mhm,
basically try to tell you those aren't the types of women that you're going to be interested in.
mhm,
So, I mean, those are definitely the shaming tactics that I've come across over time.
mhm,
Anything to basically keep you from leaving. Like I said, I do believe that ultimately women are scared when men choose to date abroad, because they know once they figure out that there are a group of women out there that are willing to deal with them in whatever aspect or capacity they bring to the table, because they were shunned away by probably their own women, that becomes an issue for them, because now they're no longer going to be the options whenever they need somebody to help clean up. That's the best way I can say it.
mm.
That's the best way I can say it. They're no longer going to be the options when it comes time to clean up. That's why I feel like, they choose to shit on us whenever we try to go abroad for sure.
Shout out to the brother, man. Marlon Brown for the follower super chat and Caribbean. O'Shea, take care of yourself. Thanks for adding into broaden this discussion. Damn, I look sick or something, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you for that, man. If I'm looking sick, you niggas let me know, brother. But all right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother, for the super chat. And do me a favor, Dr. Mike's TV. For those of you that want to subscribe to his channel, I believe I have the link in the description. But oh no, 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 no. Let me remove that. That's the hangout link I actually put there on accident. So god damn. All right, let me do that. So, anyways, Dr. Mike, let me ask you about the brothers
All right.
who are gonna say this question. The question that they're gonna say is, well, man, they will never love you like they love their men. So just because you're talking about they're gonna love you,
Hmm.
um, that doesn't mean that they're gonna love. Okay, for example, and I
All
think
right.
this is sort of true in my way, right? Like I've dealt with African American women, and I've
Hmm.
dealt with women in Africa. I've dealt with women in places like that. I always kind of feel like this particular woman might not like me, um, like like my old woman could like me, right? And so when black men might see like, oh, you have the black Brazilian woman, she's nice to her man, and the Filipino woman, she's nice to her man. Well, she's only nice to you because you have an American passport. She's only nice to
Mm.
you because you have money. She's only nice to you because this and that. She don't really fuck with you like that, Dr. Mike. You have money. You have an American visa. She really loves the Filipino guy, but you're just another nigga.
I
What you got to
feel
say
you.
about that?
That's funny. I've heard that on quite a few occasions. Doesn't
Okay.
matter whether you're black or white, all they see is green. That's kind of the terminology that a lot of people say. Green in reference to money, and also green in reference to a green card that
Mm-hmm.
you can get whenever you bring them home. Back to your home country. But ultimately, I feel where they're coming from, but the way that I played the game when I was younger, you got to realize I didn't have money when I came to the Philippines. I went to school there. I didn't have a job or anything like that. Yes, I may have had a little bit more than my college friends, but ultimately, I was living the life just like they were. So anybody who ever came in my presence, they had to understand I wasn't balling like that. And because of that, the way that I was able to navigate my way around the country as a college kid, um, it was a little bit different, because it would be no different than a college kid's life here in the United States, if I had to say. I mean, yeah, top ramen, the whole nine. So basically, I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people to play broke. They may not like this idea, but ultimately, you always basically try to get a woman's attention, or let them know off top that you're on a limited budget. For those
Mm-hmm.
that have those questions, comments, or concerns, you let them know, look, this is the only amount of money that I'm bringing in every month. This is what I have to work with. So if you really want to know if a woman's going to be around with you,
Mm-hmm.
you basically have to let them know that you're working on a limited budget. And because of even if your budget is way bigger than the number you give them, when they
Mm-hmm.
know that you're working on a limited budget, if they're willing to stay around for that,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get the idea that they may be willing to stay around with you when you have, of course, when you have a little bit more, they will. But you get the idea of the women that are going to basically love you just because they love you,
Mm-hmm.
and those that are just in it because of what you can bring to the table as far as the money you have. And I've dealt with a lot of brothers who've had situations like that. That's why I tell them, if you want to deter yourself from getting scammed in these foreign countries,
Okay.
basically let them know you're on a limited budget. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, they could only spend what they know you have,
Mm-hmm.
or they
Mm-hmm.
could try to spend what they know you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, a lot of people may agree or disagree. You're right. I will never say that a woman in a particular country doesn't love their men more than they will love foreigners. I mean, you're right, 100% correct. But what I've noticed over time is that in the Philippines, there's a lot going on. And I'm not going to sit there and say they're men. Like I said, a lot of them ain't shit sometimes. And because of that, you're right. The foreigner does bring a lot to the table. So we do get the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And we do get the opportunities that I feel a lot of people don't get because of where we come from and the passport that we have. But if you play the game right, I feel like you can basically navigate your way through it and find out which ones are real and which ones are just there because of what you can bring to the table with your passport.
Okay, let me do this again. And shout
All
out to
right.
the brothers in super chat, man. Y'all miss these sort of shows. I see. See over what the brother is described about dating is realized women can be the same everywhere. Only difference is the country, brother. I really appreciate that super chat. I appreciate all of you brothers that have been holding us down for so long. We have the Black Manosphere Awards in 2 weeks, right? And it's because of brothers like you and your support we're able to do that for the second year in a row. So thank you guys for the support. If you could guys could do me a favor, we want to make sure that you subscribe to Dr. Mike TV. We got 213 people watching right now. But Dr. Mike, let me do this real quick. I want to give
All
some
right.
shout outs to the chat, right? It's a live show. If you're watching the restream audience, I apologize about what we're about to do, but we want to give some recognition, city and state. I'm pretty sure Dr. Mike would love to know where you guys are from right now in the world. So if you brothers do me a favor, city and state, I want to recognize you for being here because you could be anywhere else, but you here with our ugly, crazy black asses. Well, Dr. Mike, he's a model. I'm the only ugly one over here. But we appreciate you
Ah,
brothers from being over here. Let us know where you guys are calling. Make it real quick. City and state. All right. Thank you, brother Omar Hogg from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Karina City, brother. Thank you so much from Illinois. T. Kelly out of Oakland. What's up, baby? You know I like you, girl. Larry Mallory from Jacksonville. Thank you, brother, for being here. Uncle Ladranius, thank you for being here, brother. Ahmad Global out of Sterling Heights. Thank you, brother. King Free Columbus, Ohio. Glenn Gibson, thank you, brother. I always see you. Plainfield, New Jersey. Edward out of NC. All about the dollar. Atlanta, thank you, brother, for being here. BODC. Jaws, 2003, Tallahassee. Tyrone Church out of Camden, man. Watch out. They be shooting out there. It's J. Clyde, Tampa. Virgil out of Bronx. Mojam, Mocha, UK. Tony Davis with the $10, man. He got a lot of money these days. Mo Salmon, Chantilly. Thank you, brother Tony D. JJ Smith, Forest City. Sinkoku, Charlotte. Stefan, Dallas, Texas. Wake the hell up, my brother. Big wake the hell up. New York, the Bronx, I believe. Lorenzo, in China. Thank you, brother. See over NYC all day. Tony Davis, Connecticut. Rich Blackman, Houston. S Solo, Washington D.C. Joe C, San Diego. Flossin, RBB out there in Philly. Greg Rose out in Poland. Dr. J, Jacksonville, Florida. All right, that's enough of you niggas. Shiz players, Miami. Let me kind of get back to this. Let's
all
talk
right.
about the hatred coming from the men, right? Now, I mean the women. That's here or
Yeah.
there. A lot
All
of
right.
black women ain't even really worried about the brothers in these new travel groups, the WTU brothers going to the Philippines. Now you got brothers going to Africa, right?
Right.
But it's a lot of these niggas that be mad, right? A lot of these
Yeah.
niggas get
Yeah.
mad, brother. Let's talk about the anger having towards brothers like you because you can
Yeah.
travel, because you got the passport, because you over there doing different things. You get a lot of hatred from a lot of African American men towards brothers like you. Why do you think that is?
Uh, we can chalk it up to jealousy and animosity first and foremost. I mean, a lot of people do hate on somebody when they can't do what that person is able to do. I
Okay.
think that you probably gotten it before. I'm pretty sure any brother that's ever traveled has
Hmm.
probably gotten some sort of shame or some hate from another brother because you are able to do things that they are not able to do. So I kind of feel like that's where it all stems from. But ultimately, it's funny because the shade and shame that I get may be a little bit different than somebody else's. Mine is more or less, Mike, you've been to the Philippines for 10 years.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's like, oh man, why don't you try going, go to Africa and places like that. That seems to be the kind of, you need to go to where you're from or some shit like that. Now you have those shitheads on YouTube that'll say that shit to be funny.
Hmm.
To go back to Africa comments. I'm pretty sure every brother who traveled has probably gotten that comment one time or another.
Hmm.
So when I get that one, like I said, I already got my yellow fever shot. I already got my card. So, I'm already ready to go should I choose to make that decision. So
Hmm.
whenever I do plan to go there. That's neither here nor there. But the shade and shame from the men, it's a little bit interesting because you would think that they would have your back. You would hope that they would be able to be on your team. You're a brother that's able to show them a different part of the world, maybe through
Right.
a YouTube video, maybe
Right.
something like that. You can give them travel tips,
Mhm.
something that could possibly be beneficial to them down the line should they ever choose to make the trip themselves. But
Mhm.
ultimately, sometimes they're mad because they didn't do it before you. I've learned that over
Yeah.
time. If you're the first one to do it, and of course I'm not the first, shout out to Black American Expat, Charles Tyler, those that have traveled before me, any
Right.
brother that's made a travel video before me.
Right.
But I think it does come because I'm young also.
Hmm.
I think I do get a lot of shade because I'm young, and they be like, "Man, this brother is here. He's looking like he like 12 years old and shit, but he overseas in the Philippines living a life that I wish that I could live." So
Hmm.
most people don't give respect to me because of my age, So there's different ways of the shaming tactics that I do get from brothers, but ultimately it's in one ear and not the other because I'm just trying to live my best life. And to the brother who left a comment about that could apply to different places everywhere, not just the Philippines. That's 100% true. That's the main reason why I titled the video "The Shade and Shame We Get for Dating Abroad," because it doesn't necessarily just happen, in the Philippines or Thailand or just in any specific place, around
Right.
the world.
Yeah. No. 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 I would agree. Because the brother Greg Rose, he's out in Poland, or at least he was in Poland. I don't know if he's still there. And Poland
Yeah.
would be considered. Now it's not a high income country like the United States, obviously, but it's in the European Union. So,
Mm-hmm.
but let me go over to this. A lot of black men in particular have taken this criticism. Um, Shout out to Brother Wake the Hell Up. Travel where you've been to travel. Lit stream Moshe. Thank you. We talk about the Philippines, you know. We talk about Brazil. We talk about Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
the DR. What do you think all of these countries have in common?
That's a good question. Uh,
In comparisons
it,
to the
it,
United States or Europe?
Cost of living, no doubt, no doubt. I believe cost of living is probably the
Mm-hmm.
biggest key factor in there.
Okay.
I think ultimately overall, and some people may agree or disagree, but I think women, as far as being able to date the women in these countries, that's pretty much it comes a close second over cost of living. You understand? I think cost of living is the biggest appeal for anybody looking to get outside of the United States. I mean, it ain't cheap to live here. We know it. I mean, but when you go to places like the Philippines or Thailand or the DR, Colombia and places like that, you
Mm-hmm.
realize your money goes a long way. You don't necessarily have to have a substantial amount of money coming in every month in order to live a really good life. I mean, we had this conversation of topic a lot, and people agree, people disagree, but I could say that you can have a decent living in the Philippines for $1,500 or 1,000 to 1,500 US dollars a month. I say that on consistent basis, and I do believe that you can definitely live a good life on very little in countries that you've mentioned before. In Europe and the United States, I can't see you living in those countries without having a substantial amount of money coming in every month.
Okay. Okay. Um, let me ask you this real quick.
All
Um,
right.
I wanna know this. The cost of living is definitely low here, right? But what I've heard when you come to black men, they say, okay, you're going to DR, you're going to the Philippines, you're going to Thailand and Brazil because you know those women are poor. Shout out to Naughty Investor. You are not going to Japan. You're not going to Singapore. You're not
Mhm.
going to Chile, right?
Mhm.
If you're looking for
Okay.
foreign women, well, you're not going to the places where, South Korea. You're not going to those places. You're going to the places where prostitution runs amok. Angela City, people go to Brazil, people going to Thailand and Bangkok, they got the girls with the boy stuff on there, you know what I mean? What up, Deep In Thought, brother? What's up? James E. Jr., what up, y'all? They got the lady boys out there that be looking like,
Right.
it's cracking out there, right? Uh
Mhm.
they call it, low income, high booty. Shout out to Rock Chow. You are going out there with these motherfuckers that ain't got no goddamn money. So basically, you niggas are preying. I hear a lot of black women say this. You're preying on those poor women with
Mhm.
low opportunities, and you using that to your advantage to manipulate them because they have money and you have money and they don't. What would you say about that?
Well, I know in my particular situation, I went there for college. Most of the girls I went to college with, they got money, so that is not necessarily, in reference to me. But I will say that 90% of the time, and 90% of the men who do visit the country do go there to pray. I've said that time and time again in videos before. Foreigners, they ain't got it all together.
Right.
And if you ask, I did a poll one time, and I asked them, I was like, would you rather date an highly educated woman or a woman that comes from the province, which is a lower income area?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, most of them said they would rather date women from these lower income areas, and for probably the exact same reasons that you said. And for them, I can't speak for them, but I'm not going to sit there and act as if that's not something that's happening. But again, you were talking about the places like Japan and Chile and places like that. Um, it does go back to cost of living. I mean, the reason most people are traveling to these particular areas, Japan is not cheap. Singapore not cheap. Malaysia not cheap. You're right. Prostitution in the whole nine does come with coming to third world countries, but ultimately, like I said, it all resorts back to cost of living because you can't really live on the same amount of income that you can in the Philippines, in Japan, and
Mm-hmm.
Singapore, and Malaysia and areas like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and act like these guys, most of them, do come to the countries, like I said, in third world countries to prey on the women. I'm not gonna lie. I lived there for 10 years. I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen way more things that I wish I didn't see. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's just the belly of the beast. And like I said, they do prefer dating these lower income women that come from lower income housing areas. And I do believe that resorts back to the ideology of I think you said it. I can't remember who said it, but I do believe you did make a video. This may have been a while back, but
Okay.
never
Okay.
dating a woman that makes more money than you, something to
Yeah,
that
yeah. I
effect.
believe. I believe in
Right.
that. I believe
Yeah,
in that.
yeah,
Yes.
right. And I do
Still
believe
to
that
this
the
day.
same right. I do believe that the same concept is there in reference to that. Maybe they're looking for somebody to take care of the household. Maybe they don't need somebody to work. They just need somebody who's going to be in their corner and make sure they take care of everything else while they out there making the money. So there is different layers and different perspectives to why men choose to date women from, particular areas around the world.
Okay. Okay. No, I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Um, let me do this for the brothers, man. Good to see you guys in here. How many people live do we have? Because my thing is we got 240 people live. All right, thank you, brothers, again for the support, for being here. Make sure you like the video. I got so many goddamn screens up. Let me kind of go back to um the situation. Like, all right, you guys are saying that American women um are bad, and that's why you brothers are dating overseas. But number one, it's not efficient because All right, if you live over there, you've already said you can't own a business without it being in the Philippines and stuff like that. I hear horror stories about brothers
Okay.
who go to the Dominican Republic, and if somebody hits their car, do you know what I mean? Then they get scammed. They have no rights. The police will run stuff up. You know what I mean? Things like that. And then
Mhm.
if you bring her to the United States, you say, well, don't bring her to the United States because if you bring her to the United States, she's going to get Americanized. So then what's the whole purpose of you? Hey, African Tigers, what's up, baby? What's the purpose of you um going overseas when you can't bring her back to America in the fucking first place? You can't bring her back because if you bring her back, she gonna get motherfucking Americanized. You're not gonna go over there
Mhm.
because ain't no money over there. So what's the
Mhm.
use of you going over there?
That is $1 million question. And if I had to, somebody gave me this as an example, and I'm not sure if it applies to the situation, but I'll see if I can make it work. A man told me, you would you rather get scammed or would you rather spend $100,000 or 100,000 pesos? Right. Would you rather spend $100,000 or would you rather spend 100,000 pesos? That's my
I like
question,
that one.
and that's all I'm gonna say. That's what I'm
I
gonna tell
know
you.
that's right.
And FYI, 100,000 pesos is equivalent to about 2,000 US dollars. So you do the math. I mean,
Right.
it's very cheap to maintain a lady overseas. I'm just gonna be honest. Whether
Yeah.
you live there or not, whether you work here and you send a little bit of change every month, you're not gonna break the bank sending maybe $100. If this is your girl now, again, and I shout out to my boy Taylor Made. He said he did the Western Union Poppy video that I love to death. I thought that was pretty awesome. But ultimately, if this is your girl, and I did agree with what he said in the video. Whatever you're with the girl, take care of the girl, do what you got to do. But when you're home, you don't take care of them until you come back and you're able to be with them. So in hindsight, the way that I look at it is, man, I'd rather take 100,000 peso L than $100,000 L, 20,000, $50,000 L. It's just more cost effective for myself, and that's
Right.
why a lot of guys choose to date abroad, simply because it's very cost effective. Especially like you said, dealing with educated brothers or brothers who have good careers. At
Right.
the end of the day, what little money you do send abroad, if you do send it again, that's up to you and that's at your own discretion.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to lose a lot in doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine trying to take your beautiful young American girlfriend on a date in the United States. One restaurant, $300 meal with them little, with what they put on these plates and stuff. At the end of the day, you may spend $150, $300, but you can send that to a girl overseas. And this may sound fucked up, but you can send that to a girl overseas, and that money will last her for a whole month. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? So it's kind of how the game goes, if you ask me.
All right, all right. Let me do this real quick. 226 people watching right now. Do me a favor, brothers. Make sure you subscribe to Dr. Mike TV. He has 2887 subscribers. I would like to get him to 3,000 before we leave. So that would be good. Just give our brothers a boost, man, because I'm always trying to bring you guys a different content. And if you have questions that you want to ask him about the Philippines, you guys know how we work it over here. Again, shout out to everybody that's in the building. We'll talk a little bit about that. When are you going back to the Philippines, brother?
Oh yeah, probably in about 2 months or so.
2 months.
I
Okay.
give or take about 2 months.
How long you
Yeah,
gonna? I see you got your little vlog thing going on. The last time you was there, brother, you was out there.
trying,
You know,
trying, trying to get
yeah.
like O'Shea, man.
Nah,
Black and
man. Nah.
Polar. We'll be doing season 3, man. What's good?
Nah, man. It was cold, brother, this year, man. Like, I have brought a gimbal and everything and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let me do that. Guys, make sure you subscribe to Dr. Mike TV right there. But let me kind of get into this, right? And this is one of the
All right.
things that some of the haters they will say this. Dr. Mike, when you show up, young J216 show up to Brazil or DR tricking with that big trucking money, you know what I mean? When Earl Owens show up, Greg Rose show up, right? You got a girl over there, right? You over there doing stuff,
Mhm.
you paying the phone bill, you I'm using my George Macon, my stutter thing. You paying the phone bill, you doing all of this stuff, right?
Right.
But as soon as you leave, she giving the money to another nigga. She ain't. You think that that's your girl, but that's not your girl. That's somebody else's girl. You know what I'm saying? So you out here introducing her to your mama and all that stuff, and you sending that $120 back a month, and she over there messing
Right.
with another dude. You know what I mean? It's just only when you come she got time, but when you gone, she don't really fuck with you like that. She in the bed with another dude or whatever. What you gotta say about that, man? Because I done heard some horror stories about that, man. Brothers out there. I got a story myself, man. Should I tell it?
Go ahead, knock it out real quick, and
I
I'll get my
yeah,
point
let
together.
me. All right, so man, like one of my brothers, right? It wasn't nothing serious though. He showed me a picture of this chick. He was like, "Yeah, man, she thick as hell, man. I had her in Brazil, right?" And I wasn't thinking nothing of it because I never thought I was going to Brazil ever. But I remember this tattoo. So, anyways, I end up going to what's that damn bar, man, that everybody talk about him? Is it Babs or what's that bar in Copacabana, man? You guys been out there? Uh, 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 is it like Nabs or whatever? It's something like that, right? I forgot what it is. But anyways, I went out there, man, and she was stupid thick, right? I was like, God damn, man, like, let me holler at you. You know what I mean? So, anyways, when I got her to the house, brother, I mean the person who looked like me, I found out that this is the same female he was talking about, right? And it wasn't nothing serious. We joke about it like that, but it just be so crazy that when another American come through, how do you know that she really fuck with you like that when you gone? You know what I'm saying?
That's $1 million question.
Mabs is Mabs, right, right. I was checking over there. I
Now,
mean, yeah, Almo. Wait. My brother Almo, I called him and told him he the one got me out there. Man, Almo, man, look, we be out there tricking, nigga. You know how we do. Shit, nigga. All right, go ahead. Nobody getting excited. My brother here, man. Go
not
ahead. Go ahead.
you good though.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
9 times out of 10, when you doing a bid like that, you talking to multiple women yourself. I mean, a lot of brothers they ain't fucking with just one girl. So at the end of the day,
Right,
if
right,
you want to get into it from that perspective again, I do got
right.
my lady over there, so this don't really necessarily pertain to me. But the activity of the pay for play, I watched your video yesterday, the 5 benefits of tricking. I watched that video yesterday, and it's funny as hell.
Yeah,
But ultimately, like you said, a lot of guys come in with that mentality, and like I said, to avoid the headache and the whole nine, that's just what they do. So at the end of the day, you probably got 2 or 3 other females you dealing with anyway. So most of the guys chalk it up to the cost of doing business. If you want to know the truth, a lot of them just say, that's just the cost of doing business. And like you said, the Tailor Made video, the Western Union poppies, you take care of them while you're there, and you don't necessarily send money, to them, while you're away.
mm-hmm,
And I kind of felt like that, the same rules apply in the Philippines as well.
mm-hmm.
And you said something else. What was the last part that you were talking about? Because I know I wanted to say something, I just forgot.
Yeah, no, I had admitted some tricking that had happened, brother, but I forgot what else happened. But
Oh, okay. I mean, but yeah, man. Brothers are going to trick anyways. I mean,
right,
it's a lost art.
especially me.
It takes a brother with some skills to get away with that one. But again, like I
Right.
say, what's 100,000 pesos to $100,000? I'll always go back to it. Because at the end of the day, the L you're gonna take tricking in the Philippines will be nowhere near the L you'll take tricking in the United States of America. No
Right,
doubt in my
right.
mind.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, let me ask you this, brother. Have you been out there to Angeles City?
That's it. There you go. That's what I was going to say. That's you got me. Thank you. You were talking about how you ended up getting with somebody that your boy knew, right? Was that the story you just told? Same
Ye-
rules apply, right? The same rules apply in Angeles City, man. They goddamn. All right, there's Walking Street. A lot of people are
right.
familiar with Walking Street. One street, bruh. Out of the whole Angeles City, is one street. So you
Okay.
can imagine that every girl that's on that street, they gonna recycle them ladies, man. Let's just be real.
Right,
You
right.
gonna likely end up hooking up with somebody that somebody else hooked up with probably an hour before, even a day before. So it's just if that's the way you want to do business and that's where you want to hang, yeah. But in the area where I used to live at, it wasn't really like that. Again, not too many foreigners really came to the area where I lived at.
Hmm.
But in Manila, you're gonna come across guys that are probably talk to or mess with the same woman as you. Depending on
Hmm.
what dating site you use. How you ended up contacting her. Facebook friends. Friends of friends on Facebook. So, it's not uncommon for you to be able to say you and your boy probably smashed the same girl. It just depends on the area in which you use it, you're actually dealing with these women in. That's the best way for me to put it.
Oh, okay. Let me shout out to the All Mall, the brother All Mall Mavs, bro. That's my brother right there, man. He gave me listen, man. When you man, look, I gotta get him to come on the show one day, man. He gave me exactly where brother Shay, you need to go here, there. He told me exactly. He says it's gonna be a big nigga in a coat when you go upstairs. Don't worry about him though. And when you make a left, I was like, oh shit. That nigga gave me a whole shout out to All Mall, man, my brother out of New York, man, James Edwards. What's up with the real estate in the Philippines? Thank you, brother, for the donation, man. I really appreciate it. Shout out to African Tigress. Okay, I met her in Kenya. Go ahead and subscribe to her, brother. Go ahead, y'all subscribe. Yeah, man, what's going on with the real estate situation out there for foreigners out there in the Philippines, brother?
Well, I often tell people this: if you're a foreigner, we already talked about not being able to own property, right? We talked about that in many different aspects. So what I do is I recommend you guys just rent long term. That way you're not locked into a particular place, just one place at all. So when you rent long term, you just jump to a space and a place until you feel where you until you find a place that's comfortable for yourself. To be honest with you, the infrastructure in the Philippines is building, but I'm not gonna lie, that infrastructure is based on Chinese and Indian from India
Mm-hmm.
investors coming into the country and building condominium units and things of that nature. So you definitely have to, deal with that. Can you hear me good? Are you
Yeah, I
good?
hear you, man. You back to cutting grass, brother?
Got somebody next door?
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Matty Ghost. Y'all know
My
Matty,
bad.
man. One of the OGs. He be over here just breaking all kind of bread off. $75. Nice topic. I'm SYBSM because I'm financially feasible without the bartering over who controls what. Anything stateside is just a jump off unless it's a rare unicorn presents. Now, my brother, he don't mind me saying this. And shout out to Wake the Hell Up and Matty Ghost. They be over there on Reg. They both moderate for me. He had a little Filipino he working on too over there, brother. So that's why he came in over here hard on the topic. So shout out to the brother Mighty Ghost, always killing on those stocks. And guys, my forum actually got for the Negro Manosphere, Mighty Ghost was picking stock picks on the forum and it was hitting every day. And then we ended up, man, the motherfuckers came and gave me that malware on the site, so the site kept going down. But I'm gonna bring the forum back over there. But let me kind of talk about this, Dr. Mike. For the brothers that's what's up, Prophet of Thought? Brother Matty goes, talk to me about how much money a month if you want to really get your Filipino thing on, right? What are some of the challenges some of these brothers out here? And you have a book that you wrote on the subject, brother. Talk to these brothers here if they want to go first time. Where should they go? How should they start moving and stuff like that? How much money they need to take and all that stuff.
All right. Well, the way I see it is like this, man. I mean, 9 times out of 10, when you fly into the Philippines, you're going to land in Manila. That's the capital city.
Right, right.
I don't necessarily like Manila too much, but again, it's probably one of the safest places, not safest, but probably one of the better areas to be in because you're going to be with a lot of other foreigners.
Let me ask
And
you this: why you don't like Manila, brother?
the women there are already messed up, man. you don't
Oh,
stand,
why
you
they
don't
messed
stand a
up?
chance. Man, all them foreigners tricking over there, bro. They got it fucked.
My bad,
Man, they got it fucked.
my
They
bad,
got it
bro.
fucked up. I'm not gonna say it's on you, fam, but
Nigga,
everybody with that
you fucked it
mentality.
up, nigga. You
But
already
yeah,
know.
man. But yeah, Manila's
Yeah,
actually it's all right. But there are cheaper areas outside of the city that you can go
right,
to that you can definitely do good in. Safe amount of money depends on the time you're gonna stay. I would say for a first timer coming in, 1,500, 2,000 a month. If you can swing that, that'll be definitely enough for you to get your fill. That's what I
right,
want you to do. I want you to be able to enjoy yourself. So $1,500, $2,000 would be enough for you to get your fill. Now, of course, the more you bring, the more tricking you can do. So,
right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
right, right. So, you know, as far as the place to rent, you can rent anywhere between as high as, of course, $1,000, $1,200 a month. That's with your American amenities. To probably as low as about $300 a month, even cheaper. But those are like bed spaces, and you don't
Okay,
want nothing to do with that. But to get you a nice little apartment, probably
right.
about $300 a month or so. You just got to look around, and it does depend on the area. Like I said, Manila, you're going to definitely deal with higher pricing.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
let's see, you know, I would say for a vacation time, 2 weeks in, probably about $1,500, $2,000, so that you can really get your feel for it. You're probably going to end up staying in a hotel room because you're not there for a month-long stay.
Right.
Like I said,
Right.
that'll probably run you about, hotel stay, probably about, give or take, 300 to 500 US dollars or something like that. But, like I said, overall, I do feel like if you can bring 2,500, that's just enough to cover you just in case shit happens, because you never know what's going to happen when you're, traveling overseas and whatnot. So I think that's probably about a good amount of money. There's always places to see and things to go. Um, Cebu and Manila are the two most visited areas by foreigners. Those are the
Okay.
big city areas, bigger city areas in the Philippines. Where I lived at was in Davao City. Not too
Right.
many people are familiar with, which is like, that's basically why it's my own playground. I don't really have too many people trying to come through. So,
Right.
like I
Right.
said, my whole experience would be different from somebody who chose to, spend their time in Angeles City or in the
Hmm.
Manila area in Cebu. So, I recommend people, if you like the beach, there's plenty of beaches to go to. You got your Boracay and the Palawans, those tourist areas. But, that might run you a little bit. But ultimately, I do believe you'll have, a really good time, regardless where you choose to go in the Philippines.
Okay. Okay. Let me shout out to the brothers again, man. Guys, do me a favor. How many of you brothers have subscribed to uh how many of you have subscribed to Dr. Mike? All right. African Tigers, that'll be a different episode, baby. You over here in the men's content boo. So let me do something real quick. Jaws 2003, Dr. Mike was the reason I went to Davao City. Nice place and people very chill and my type of vibe. Man, thank you, Jaws, for the super chat. And then thank you also, Sam Cassell. Make the forum great again. We're gonna bring it back for y'all. Don't even worry about nothing, man. We're gonna bring it back. Thank you, Earl Owens. Let me do this. Let me get some shout outs for those people who want to subscribe to Dr. Mike, right? If you subscribe to Dr. Mike, you get a shout out. Just make sure you hit the link, subscribe, hit the bell. Thank you, brother Earl Owens. You have a new subscriber right there.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Shout out.
Thank you. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Now I want to shout out to my boy Jaws 2003. That's been my boy for a long time. My boy Jamal.
Right.
He said he came to Davao City on my recommendation,
Recommendation,
and
right.
right. I'm glad that he had a good time because, like I say, 9 times out of 10, I just be on here popping off and talking my shit because I love where I'm from, and I love the places I go. So when a person comes through on my recommendation and everything that I said
Right.
goes the way that they said it did, it does make you feel better. So much love to my brother there. So shout out to
Right.
him.
Right. Thank you, brother Ahmed Global. He subscribed. Perfect Storm subscribed. Thank you, brothers, for that. Let me ask you this, man. All right, a lot of brothers are starting to see some of the things going on in the United States, right? Even me, living in Poland for
Hmm.
these last few years, and although I don't necessarily like Poland, the United States, man, I don't know what's going on with the United States, but they are going
Hmm.
crazy out here with some of these new things there. I'm not going to talk about what those things are, but there are some brothers that said that they want to get out of the matrix, and they want to get to the Philippines. The only problem is how will they make money when they get to these places? And I know that you have to travel. You have a job in America, and then you have to do,
Right.
and I know. Shout out to Big Chris, HT Logistics 3434. He do the trucking thing, then boom, he goes out there to Thailand or to the Philippines, and then he comes back. But what's the long term plan if you want to live there full time and start to earn money? If you don't have a pension, what would you do? What are some of the things you're trying to get involved in so that you can go over there and make money? Or do you want to live there full time?
I do. I mean, long term, I do want to retire there. That's really a long term plan for myself. It does become difficult when this particular topic comes up because, the first thing people want to ask me about is drop shipping and, all of those, e-com and stuff like that, being a digital nomad,
Right.
doing things online and stuff like that. And I have to be honest when I tell them, I mean, those things can be hit and miss. You can either be really good at it or, you can fall flat on your face with it. So, I say whatever you plan on doing, make sure it's something that number one, you get paid in US dollars for. I do believe as long as you have an internet connection, as long as you can complete what you need to do, that's always good. But I want you to understand that when it comes to e-com and stuff like that, again, it's not going to always be right for you. But whatever you do, make sure you start it at least 6 months to a year in advance so that you can see if this is something that's going to be a sustainable living for yourself. But I do think that online English teaching is always a safe bet. Online English teacher. They got companies that are looking for Americans to teach Chinese kids in Taiwan. You can go online and look up any site looking for online English teachers. They pay roughly about $8 an hour when you start. But
Hmm.
consider you do about, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You can pretty much generate, some income that way. And then
Right.
from there, you can probably branch off. I do believe that those are the most secure. You got your brothers that do stocks and bonds and the whole nine. I do got a
Right.
lot of guys that
The
do that as
Medicos
well.
brothers.
Right. Shout out to him. I know a lot of brothers who do that as well. But
Right.
again, that's still high risk. But if you're looking for a low risk, but, medium reward, something
Right.
to the effect of, doing online English teaching, getting involved in things like that. Because it's real easy to do 30-minute sessions. I've done it before while I was living there. So I know how,
Hmm.
how it goes.
Hmm.
30-minute sessions with a kid, $8. And then, that stuff replenishes over time. And if you continue doing it, the more hours you put in, the more money you make. So I kind of feel like that's a safer way to go, things to
Hmm.
that nature. So
Hmm.
that's what I would tell them to look into if that's what they really want to do long term.
Okay, all right. Let me shout out to some of the brothers that's Young J subscribe. Thank you, Is J Clyde. Thank you so much, Perfect Storm again. Ahmad Global. Um, let me see who else we have. TOV Sports. Nigga, no. Let me see what we got. Tobo791, thank you so much. Um, so yeah, and pretty much, man. I guess one of the other things is, as far as let's talk about doing the business thing, brother. Out
Hmm.
there, you're talking about if you want to get a business started, man, you have to have a Filipino to go into
Partner.
business with you.
Yeah.
And then also, it's not necessarily so safe. Even buying a house or out there, it's not so safe. Let's talk about that real quick.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, you're right. Everything is a risk depending on how well you know a person. When it comes to doing business, again, you do have to have a Filipino partner. I believe that the percentages is 60-40, and that would be the same with property as well.
Okay.
So like I say, I do, as far as if you want to live there, like this is where you want to live. Like I said, I like renting, even though you never own it. Hell, you barely own what you have anyways if you buy a property over there. So I mean, it's basically, you come out a little bit, less if you just, rent long term. You could probably get decent discounts. I mean, they
Mhm.
all about their money too over there. So it's, you'll probably be able to negotiate something. But also, there were some other ideas that people were mentioning to me too that I thought were interesting. If you want to live there, I'm talking about this is where you want to retire. You're looking at least a good 15, 20 years of life left in you. They were talking about you can lease land, right? You can lease a land and you can build you like a $10,000 house on that land. So, yeah, you may not own it, but if you land lease over time and you spread that over like a 20-year thing, you're probably going to spend 60, maybe $70 a month in the lease of that land for like a 20-year span. And you just build you a nice little $10,000, not really a shack, but like a small little makeshift house for yourself, depending on,
Right.
how your living is, how you want to live when you're over there. So, there were other ideas as far as that is concerned, but as far as doing business, you gotta, you can put in safeguards. I mean, you can have contracts drawn up to, protect yourself, but at the end of the day, you got to protect yourself through, Philippine rules and regulations. So they may not uphold should things go south for you in doing business with your Filipino partner. So, that
Okay.
is always something to be aware of. Like I said, to be honest with you, I'll tell you right now, I had a business in the Philippines. I owned the cosmetic store. I was a retail outlet for a local brand of cosmetics over there. I put the business in my girlfriend's name. She won't go nowhere. She didn't know anything about the paperwork. She just knew what papers to sign when I put them in her face, and that was about it. I had a what do you call it when you get permission or authorization to what is it? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but basically, I had her sign a paper to give me authorization to do banking transactions and file the taxes and stuff like that. So I basically ended up doing it all myself. She just was the name on the business. So that's kind of the way that I do feel is a safer way of doing it. The less they
Right.
know about the business, the better. So that's always a way of getting around that. And again, if you just need a partner, I'm pretty sure that you'll find somebody that you can, do
You
that with if
trust.
you've been there. Right, 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 right.
Okay. Okay. Obi Okagwale, O'Shea, what's good, my brother? $5 super chat, brother. Thank you so much for that support. But let me just do this, man. How many of us are going to subscribe to Dr. Mike, right? Because again, I'm in several different communities in Black YouTube. I'm in, obviously, shout out to the Manosphere. Y'all know I'm in the Manosphere community. I'm also in the Black male travel community. I'm also in Greater Black YouTube now, and then also in the African diaspora. Shout out to African Tigress because I'm gonna be working with her when I go back to Africa. So I'm in a whole bunch of different communities. But one of the things that I want all you brothers to do is support your Black brothers, man, who are doing these things, right? Because that's how we need to build these networks. So I always tell you brothers to subscribe, right? Subscribe to a lot of these brothers because as the content creators, as Black men, we should be doing what as African American men, we should be working together, and we should be uh, trying to make our content better for all of the Black males who come on. And my brother right here. Oh shit! I just saw your last show. You the man. Sup, Dr. Mike? My brother Ted Randolph. I got to get my brother on here too now because Ted can talk that shit too. Um, we want to bring all our brothers here in America, African American brothers, the brothers in Africa, the brothers all the way in Canada. Listen, it's up to us to bring our people together that have these experiences so that we can have networks, right? I'm gonna use All Mall for example. He gave me some good game when I was in Brazil. I wouldn't have had if I didn't know. So there's a lot of brothers that have information that we really need to basically um come together, brothers, and support our content creators so that we can all get better, right? You know what I mean? So go, it's nothing to go subscribe, check out the content. Black American Expat, they do shows. I'm a big fan of his channel, and they have people and connections that I don't have access to. Same thing with my brothers in the WTU travel community, Sosua, Dominican Republic. I just WhatsApp Tailor Made Dreams, the general. We might be doing a show later on today. So I always want you brothers to go out and subscribe to all different brothers in Black YouTube that's doing something because that's how you get information and that's how you might find opportunity. So African Tigress says, so Mike is simply advising men to go for less smart women. Let me ask you this. You're not saying that, these women are
Mm-mm.
not smart, right?
Oh man, they run circles around your average foreigner. I'll tell you that. If you don't know the game, they're very street smart, and there are highly educated women. Like I said, the women that I went to school with, they're doctors now. So there it's not necessarily that you're dealing with, low income doesn't necessarily mean not educated. That's the best way for me to say it. It doesn't always mean that, but that's not what I'm encouraging. But I'm encouraging men to at least seek opportunities elsewhere just in case things aren't quite working out for them in the United States. That's the best way for me to put it. Just keep your options open. That's the best way for me to say it.
All right. Uh, so let me do here. Yeah, Passport Heavy is a really great channel. So again, let me see what we got for Dr. Mike YouTube's channel. He has 2924. I think he had 2877. So you got about 50 new subs, man, for coming over
Appreciate
here.
it.
Again, I really, really thank you for coming over to the channel and doing the interview, man. It's been a long time coming. African
Oh
Tigress,
yeah.
I'll definitely give you an opportunity to state your case because she's from Kenya. So
Hmm.
she doesn't
Oh,
really
I get it though. I want to go to Africa, baby. Don't get it twisted. Don't don't act like just because
yeah, yeah, let me
I
ask
spent
you
a
this.
lot of
Why do you
time.
think this, right? Because when you think
Mhm.
about and I know this is why are brothers going to places like the Philippines? Do you think that the issues that Black men and Black women have in America turn brothers off to Black women altogether for the most part? So much so that they're like, nah, fuck going to Africa. I'm going to the Philippines. I'm going to Brazil. I'm going to Colombia, nigga. I'm tired of dealing with Black women, nigga. I'm listen, no. I'm not going to where
Mm,
y'all come from. I'm going over, to these other places.
damn, that's funny that you should say that because you do have some women, from Africa that have some of the same traits that you can find in African American women.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's probably the biggest deterrence. That's the best way for me to say it because, like I said, it ain't all of them. And like you said, I think, I can't remember what you said, but I think you said there are some parts of Africa that you believe, I don't know who said it, but I think they said in the western part of Africa, like I said, don't quote me on this, yo. Don't shit on me for not getting this right if it's wrong. But they were talking about, dealing with women with the weave and the whole nine and things like that. And they were like, if that's what I want and that's what I'm gonna get, I might as well continue dealing with, African American women in the United States. So,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like because there are certain areas that do get a bad rap, that does prevent a lot of brothers from wanting to go over there as well because they don't want to have to follow in the same circle that they trying to get out of, the same matrix they're trying to escape from. So.
Man, listen,
Yeah.
I've had so many West African dudes tell me from Ghana, from Nigeria to Liberia, like, man, do not go there.
Right.
Uh, like, almost every, I will say this, I've been across East Africa. In East
Hmm.
Africa, I haven't ever been to West Africa, right?
Right.
But for me, I would say what I've come across, um, I prefer African American women over African women, just because of the cultures are very similar.
Hmm.
But I think like I will say this. I will say this. East African women are like much nicer than like women back home. I mean, because that
Okay.
disposition is much different. So
Mm.
the talking loud and all of that stuff, like Nigerian women and Ghanaian women, they are like that from what I've seen being portrayed or what I've come across in America. East African women are nothing like that.
Okay.
That's not their personality. But I think it's more of a, for me, it's more of a cultural thing. But I think also when it comes to Africa though, like a lot of guys are not really promoting it like that. Like, most people think like, African women, like they pretty and everything, but they poor or they don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's not really
Right.
promoted. Whereas when guys go to the Philippines, more guys go to Thailand, you know what I mean? It's more promoted.
Right.
Shout
That's
out
true. That's true.
Mark, I go strictly for the cost of living in beaches. But
There you go.
anything else you want to say, brother?
Well, like I said, man, I told you this time and time again. Like I said, the reason I started my own YouTube channel was because of you and Philco, because y'all were both living abroad at the time. And I was like, man, these brothers is out here doing their thing. So that's kind of the reason why I was inspired. I even said that in my first video that I ever did. So, like I said, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity when your brother had what? I think the first time I interviewed on your channel, I had like 200 subscribers, probably,
Yeah.
maybe, if I was lucky. So, like I said, you definitely contributed to helping getting my information out there, and letting brothers be familiar with what I got going on. So much love to you and thank you for having the good doc on your platform. It has been definitely an experience. Again, like I said, we are going to get a lot of shame and shade for dating abroad. I mean, that's just the cost of doing business. If that's what you want to do, there are always going to be naysayers in everything that you do. Like you say, even in business, whatever it may be. So you just got to take it and bite the bullet and move on. Like I said, I haven't given up on dating women in the Western world, but hey, I've kind of found my comfort zone in the Philippines, in the eastern part of the world. So, that's the best way I'm gonna be able to live my life. So, like I said, I appreciate you giving me a chance to speak my mind on a particular video.
Hmm.
I appreciate those that subscribe to the channel, man. I hope you guys do take time to enjoy some of the content I have out there. There are some videos that some people may be interested in, and hey, just take a look. And I appreciate you guys. And any feedback you want to give me, just leave it in the comment section. I appreciate it. Just tell
Oh,
me that O'Shea sent you. That's what I want you to do. Tell me
hold on,
O'Shea sent you.
man. And
Go
hold
ahead.
before I go, man. Another brother, right, that came up, that's blowing up right now. He think I don't see him blowing up, but he did came through. He came through the sphere, and that brother is doing
Hmm.
his thing. That's Yes Jonas, man. Go
Okay.
subscribe to my brother Yes Jonas. Do you know who that is?
I've heard the name, but I cannot remember. I
Yeah,
didn't come across the content yet, but I'm gonna check him out as soon as we
man.
get
Look,
offline.
Yes Jonas is it came out the sphere, man, and he
Hmm.
doing his thing out there. Yes, man. What time tonight, man? So yeah, man, shout out to Yesh, man. Yesh, Marcus, Listen, man, Yesh is I remember when I first came on, he had that little glass breaking sound. I said, man, what kind of stupid ass sound is that? And I was like, nigga, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga, man? But I kept watching the videos. He had this, get that deep voice. This is Yes, Giannis. I said, man, what's up with this dumbass sound effect, man? So, but that's my brother, man. He's out there doing, man. He's doing things, man. He got a podcast going on. He interviewing brothers, man. He gonna be the next to blow, man. He's taking that Brazil thing, man. He's all over Latin America, and
Okay.
so you got to hook up with him, man. Go subscribe to Yes Jonas, man. That's a good channel on Black Youth. That's the Mwiyak brothers. So you know, man, they all come through here. Yeah, Yes sound like Thanos, man. Big tall ass nigga, man. He about 6'7". Big joker, man, out there. Yeah, this is Yes Jonas. So, anyways, man, shout out to the brothers out there that's out here traveling, man. I really love you guys. Thanks, Dr. Mike, for coming on. We'll see you brothers.
Appreciate it.
Oh, also tonight, y'all. I got Captain Tazariak from the Hebrew Israelite community on prime time tonight. I had Cy Netter. Shout out to Cy Netter on Sunday. They came back on Monday. And we supposed to be debating the conscious community, the manospheres. It's all love. But tonight I got Captain Tazariak from the Hebrew Israelite community. And why we need to separate from the white man. You do not want to miss that. Okay, this gonna be a good one. That brother is gonna be talking about some controversial things tonight, and what the Hebrew Israelite brothers are teaching. So I'm stepping up my content, man. I can't wait. So tonight is gonna be on and cracking on the O'Shea Blogcast, and that's gonna be why we need to separate from the white man. You do not want to miss that from Captain Tazariak from the Hebrew Israelite community. Is going to be cracking in that thing. It's going to be a lot of people in the mix there. So, but anyways, thanks again, my brother. I appreciate you, brother, for coming on. Peace.